longest-serving U.S. Senator, former Vice President Joe Biden.
Hey guys, it's good to see you all. Folks, Senator Carper, all the other elected officials are here. I got a fairly brief message for you. Look, a couple points I want to make to you. I was supposed to be down in Washington speaking at the big rally down there, but I wanted to come home. Because that old expression goes, you're the ones that brung me to the dance. And folks, I want you to know a couple things. First of all, we can beat the NRA. I did beat the NRA. Most of you guys are too young to know, but in 1996 I passed a crime bill with the help of Tom. And guess what we did? We outlawed assault weapons. We eliminated, you could have no more than 10 rounds in a clip. We made sure that we, for the first time, passed background checks, the Brady bill. We made a lot of progress. And we only passed it by 7 votes. But the reason we did is because people got engaged. Because back in the early 90s, there was a crime wave going across the country. And Tom and I were able to roll this in with 100,000 cops on the street to make people safer. And crime's gone way down, but here's what happened. When crime went way down, we had the Bush administration came along. Well, no, just listen to me, okay? Just listen to me just for a second. I won't take much of your time. But folks, here's what happened. In order to pass that bill back there in 1994, what we had to do was we had to get it, quote, fancy word, reauthorized in 10 years. The problem was there were a lot of hanging chads in Florida, and a guy named Bush became president, and he let it lapse. But because the crime wave had abated and gone back to the levels of the 60s, people stopped talking about it, stopped worrying about it. When Sandy Hook occurred, at every one of them, from Columbine to Sandy Hook, I've been there. I've been with those parents. I know every single parent who lost a child up in Sandy Hook. I've spent the time this last 3 weeks, or 2 weeks, with the parents in Florida. I spoke with 400 of them yesterday privately in the Capitol. And folks, too many people are dying. Too many children are being hurt. But here's the deal. You guys, you talk about how you're going to change things. You are going to change things. No, not a joke. I'm not trying to be nice to you. Because look, Frank, here's the deal. What's happening now is you're ripping the Band-Aid off. You're forcing people to look squarely in the eye what they don't want to face. And guess what? Way back a long time ago in 1972, when I ran for the Senate as a 29-year-old kid and won, everybody thought we had, my sister organized my campaign. They called it the Kitty Campaign because we had 20,000 volunteers, mostly high school students. Well, my sister understood that I hope you understand that nobody else did, that you have more influence on your parents than they have on you. Not a joke. When they see their child upset and committed to something important, it changes their minds too. So all across America, in all the cities, it's not just all you young people marching, it's all those parents home listening and watching. And here's why that's important. The reason why we lose these gunfights, and I'm the guy that introduced 40 initiatives after Sandy Hook for the president, and we only ended up having 14 of them pass, 14 of them be put in place. The reason why is, for the gun guys, this is the single most important issue in the world. So for example, if there's a congresswoman or a congressman who votes every way that person wants, but votes against guns, they vote against them. a little bit like what happens in my party. You can be right on every single issue, but in some areas, if you're wrong on choice, you're going to be voted against. It's the single most important issue. That's the difference between us. Those of us who want rational gun control and fought our whole lives for it, to us, it's a gigantic issue. But a lot of your parents have gone out, and someone who has been good on all the issues they think, but bad on guns, they go, okay, well, that's all right, I'll vote for him anyway. There's more energy. Like what I said. There's more energy on the other side. But what you're doing is you're providing energy. You're putting pace on the ball. And one more. No, I guess not. Pardon me? It's the cord. Okay. I'll just hold it here. You ready? Here's the deal, guys. Last point I want to make to you. A lot of you are going to be voting next time around, and the time after that. And here's the thing about your generation. You're the best educated. You are the most tolerant. You're the most reasonable generation in American history. But guess what you're not? You're not engaged in politics to now. You don't vote. You show up in little dribs and drabs, 23%. If in fact, people between the ages of 18 and 24 voted the national average of 60%, we wouldn't have this guy as president. So let's get something straight. You gotta register. You gotta register. You gotta go out and help people at the polls. You gotta help candidates. Because folks, there's no place to hide. There's no place to hide. In 1972, when I was asked to run for the Senate, I went down to my favorite professor, a brilliant guy named David Ingersoll, political philosophy, and I said, what do you think I should do, Professor? He looked at me and said, remember Plato. I wonder, what in God's name is he talking about? But there's a phrase he always used, and I want you to remember it. The penalty good people pay for not being involved in politics is being governed by people worse than themselves. So folks, your generation reminds me, and please don't be offended of mine, in the 60s, the generation that took on the war. Well folks, look, here's the deal. For the longest time, from 1962 to 68, everybody, the whole thing was drop out, don't get involved. Young people weren't engaged. They went to Haight-Ashbury. But around 68, when our heroes were killed, when Dr. King was murdered, when this city, when state was occupied, this city by the National Guard, when my only political hero, Robert Kennedy, was assassinated the day I walked across the stage to get my diploma for my law degree. That's when we decided enough is enough is enough, and we stood up. That's what you're doing. You're sending a message that goes way beyond what we have to do with regard to guns. So let's get something straight here. It's not just the NRA. It's the gun manufacturers. That's where the big money is. The reason they're opposed to everything is they want to sell more guns, period. Guys, Tom helped me, when I was vice president, put in a provision. You know, you have a biometric ability to you buy a gun, the only person who can pull the trigger is the person who qualifies to own the gun. Well, guess what? The technology's there. I got folks in Silicon Valley to in fact invest in it and develop the technology. But gun shows, gun dealers who use it and advertise in their windows that they have those guns, the gun manufacturers stopped selling to them. They said, if you sell them, we're not with you, because guess what? If the only person who can pull the trigger on a gun is the person who legally is able to own it, then guess what? They sell fewer guns. So folks, don't kid yourself. This is about money, this is about greed, this is about the manufacturers, and this is about you putting an end to it. Don't stop. Don't stop. Thank you.
stay over